What up? What up? Welcome to another episode 16 of the Swoosh Hoops podcast. And just want to let you know what a very interesting day in the NBA. Yeah, trade deadline wise. So it's your it's your host Eric. We got Ernest Armani,
Sad Lakers fan, aka.
aka Sad Lakers fan, and you got my brother Ernest, who got the Angry Kobe Bryant, which summarizes the entire day of what happened during the trade deadline for the Lakers.
It was an exciting day, not gonna lie, but
It
you
was it
know,
was a it was a, it was a it was a interesting day for and a lot of shockers for me, regards for trades. So we're gonna start off with the trade deadline. As you all know, the big trade that happened in mid afternoon. 76ers Nets finally pulled off the trade. Nets sending James Harden, Paul Millsap to the Philadelphia 76ers. Six and no, I'm sorry, James Harden, Paul Millsap traded from the Nets to the Sixers. Nets get back Ben Simmons, two first round picks, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond. Um, this is probably the biggest trade during on the trade deadline, but
this is the biggest.
it is probably the biggest because what's interesting was that these two teams are in the same division, trading their big time superstars for each other,
Hmm.
and now they set themselves up to be major players back into the Eastern Conference race to dethrone the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm gonna get Ernest. I want to start with you. Get your thoughts on that trade and how you feel about
I mean, at least somebody did something because clearly.
it.
Um, so I think it's a win for both teams. It was kind of writing on the wall, almost all season. You know, I think for the short term, Philly, I'm just very surprised they was able to keep Tyrese Maxey and Matisse Thybulle in that trade. Gives them a lot of defensive switchability and availability on the wings, and then James Harden doesn't have to really worry about defense. You can kind of hide him that way. Um, and what people don't realize, you're gonna have the pick and roll between James Harden and Embiid is going to be. I mean, we thought, seeing LeBron and AD's pick and roll is insane, right? It's unstoppable. But this one, because it poses such of a threat of James Harden being able to shoot the ball and facilitate, and Embiid, who's the MVP right now. Um, him rolling to the basket is going to be something fun to watch. So, March 10th, circle the calendar. Nets Sixers, so at Philly, and maybe Ben Simmons will play, and we know Kyrie will be there. So and hopefully Katie's healthy and he'll be playing. Um, but other than that, man, with Brooklyn, it was very important that they got. I think a lot of people kind of like overseeing this, but it was very big that they got Seth Curry in that deal. Reason being is, Joe Harris is not around, and he went to get a second opinion on that ankle, and it doesn't look good. So you get that insurance of a shooter, and they desperately needed size. So getting Andre Drummond who can rebound, and now instead of a backup role, he'll get. I'm not sure he'll start, but he'll definitely have starter minutes. In a sense. So, a lineup of Drummond, KD, Simmons, Kyrie, and Curry is going to be that's a tough five, man. Like people don't understand what we need to understand with adding Simmons is that Simmons is going to play perfect in the role because that's the exact role that they need. He doesn't have to worry about shooting. He can just facilitate and defend. And he's 6'10", what, he's 6'7", 6'8", maybe 6'9", and he's gonna be playing point guard. And listen, it's regardless, it's gonna be some exciting stuff to see in the East. Um, you can say now the East is definitely a powerhouse in comparison to the West, considering what's going on out there. And yeah, man, it's going to be exciting to see. I still think Milwaukee's the team to beat. I just think Milwaukee looks really really good. Them adding Serge Ibaka was really huge for them. So yeah, and we'll get into that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I think both teams relatively won the trade. Sixers short term, Nets long term, because obviously youth. Um, Ben Simmons is younger. Then you got Joel Embiid and James Harden who are very injury prone. So we'll see how it all pans out, but it's going to be some exciting basketball to watch.
I think both teams came to an agreement, so both teams is just completely okay with what they receive. I think that Brooklyn won his trade clearly. As Ernest spoke about, the defensive upgrades that the Nets receive in this trade, and just also from a role playing standpoint, like you add Andre Drummond, you add Seth Curry, and you add somebody in Ben Simmons who's a versatile defender, so he can succeed on, especially on the defensive end when he's guarding either the best player on the opposing team or that point guard or that big when the team decides to go small. Also, I feel like what's been holding the Nets back, especially the past couple of weeks, due to injury, especially with KD being out, with Harden with this lingering hamstring injury, and with Kyrie Irving playing every other road game, is that the Nets was forced to play players. They were just getting players out the G League left and right, man. I went to the Nets and Lakers. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you're back.
yeah, you back.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, there was just a lot of players that I just could not name on that roster. And it seems like now these role players that the Nets received in this trade, they fill the void perfectly. So I think that's where I come and say that I think that the Nets really benefited from this trade long term. And now with Philly, even though they gave up Seth and Andre, they still got good quality role players. You got Danny Red. We're not gonna forget about you, Danny Red. Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle. I feel like now they're just missing just something on the defensive end. That's just what I think. Somebody who's gonna guard that best player on the other team. Danny Red is not the answer, but that pick and roll combo between James Harden and Joel Embiid is going to be lethal, man. Now you just don't have to worry about Joel Embiid as the opposing team. You have to worry about James Harden now. James Harden giving you buckets. Joel Embiid is playing out of his mind. Front runner for MVP. James Harden is playing, ideally, some would say, according to stats, some of his worst basketball, but he's still playing at a decent level. So just imagine, So I'm just thinking that will this hamstring injury that James Harden has, will this just automatically go away? Not saying that there's going to be any problems in Philly because Embiid has his fair share of problems. Embiid could come out and dominate every 2 games and then just be a no-show every 3 games, and that's when guys like Shaq on TNT, they get on Joel Embiid and stuff like that. And then James Harden, he has his off the court issues. So my question is, will those issues still be a thing now that this pairing works? But to summarize, I think the Nets really won this deal, and they definitely moved the needle today.
So I think short term, this is a 2-year window for the Sixers, and long term, the Nets won this deal. The fact that they got draft picks that they lost in the James Harden deal was big for them. Also, the fact that Ben Simmons now comes back on the floor as a non-shooter, but still he can facilitate as a point guard, of de facto point guard, is big because Kyrie and KD, they can be off the ball on the off their natural positions. Now, defensively, this makes the Nets way much better with Ben Simmons leading the on the defensive side. He could really rotate. He can be that center fielder who can guard the best player and rotate to who's on the ball and leave KD and Kyrie on the weak side to help out defensively. For the Sixers, it's a 2-year window between now and next season with Joel Embiid and James Harden. That pick and roll game with him, with Embiid and Harden, like both of you said, is going to be lethal. And on top of that, you add shooters with Tyrese Maxey, Danny Green. I mean, if Korkmaz off the bench, and Tobias Harris, who they didn't have to deal, who didn't have to like put in the deal, is big for them. So you can at least use more space on the floor for the Sixers and have Embiid play the post, have to kick and draw the double, kick out to the shooters. And also you play one-on-one with James Harden and play the two-man game with Harden, Embiid, Harden and Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, Harden. So Doc Rivers can play a whole bunch of combinations and mix and match. So it's going to be real interesting to see how regular season wise they prep for the playoffs, because that's going to be the main question of how the Sixers is going to, the main question to be, can all three of these guys coexist and make it work for the Sixers? Because the last couple of years they flamed down the playoffs really badly, especially last year. So the question is, can one of these teams overthrow the Milwaukee Bucks to get to the NBA Finals out of the East? That's still a question mark. I still like the Bucks coming out, but the race is going to be real interesting at the top of the East. So also, to segue into that, we have a couple other trades that were kind of surprising. So I'm gonna ask y'all to what was the most surprising trade that you saw today?
I'll go with Serge Ibaka, because I don't think any of us could have seen that. And I was watching ESPN today; they had a little special for the trade deadline and everything, and he hit it dead on the money that the Milwaukee Bucks didn't need Serge Ibaka, and it was kind of confusing because it was like, wow, the Clippers kind of low key got finessed, you know. Serge Ibaka, who can still give good quality minutes, he's not as a defensive powerhouse like he used to be, but he's just another guy you got to worry about. You know, I already thought that the Milwaukee Bucks already might have fixed that situation, especially with Brook Lopez being injured, and Brook Lopez only played one game this season, I believe. Oh yes,
I was that so
yeah.
Javon took my take. That was gonna be my surprise. I did not see Porzingis getting moved from Dallas. That was a surprise for Dinwiddie and Bertan. So I don't know. I don't foresee Porzingis and Kuzma working together at all.
Nope.
Because now Kuzma is like, oh, Bradley Beal is out, Dinwiddie is out, Trez is out.
I'm the
Give
captain
me
now.
the ball. Give me the ball. Like, that's gonna be disgusting in DC.
They're already free falling.
Right. Yeah. So that trade, Javon, good call out, because that was gonna be my take.
Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like the Milwaukee Bucks didn't need him. They got him for dirt cheap for a steal, and they just add another guy, you know.
Well, I would say they kind of needed him because you don't know what's happening with Brook Lopez.
But they got Bobby Portis though.
Right, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you can run. Think about this. Think about this. They could, if they really wanted to, and this sounds crazy. If they really wanted to, they could run a 3 big man lineup.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, if they play the Cavs in a let's say it's the first round or second round, the Cavs are going to start Mobley, Jared Allen, and Lauri Markkanen and or Kevin Love, right?
Yeah.
They're dedicated to that 3 big man lineup. So what Milwaukee can do is, okay, I'll throw you this. They can have Ibaka play the 5. They can have Portis play the 4. They can have Giannis play the 3. Then they'll have Middleton, and then they'll have Jrue Holiday. Like, that's crazy to think about. Like, this is why I say, like, people are going crazy over the Sixers and the Nets trade. But if you think about it, Milwaukee, man, is going to be dangerous. Like people don't understand how like Giannis is on another level. Like he's on another. He's taking pull up threes and jump shots. Like
And
he
he's making
brings
them.
right.
He's
He's
making those
making them.
shots.
So like right before our eyes, you see this man develop a serious game to where he's going to be the completest player. Excuse me, the completest. Not even a word. He's going to be the most complete player that we've ever seen, probably in history. Because if he develops a consistent 3-point jump shot and a consistent mid-range jump shot, no matter how ugly it looks, no matter how ugly the form looks, but if it's consistent and it's at a good field goal percentage, and he can get to the basket at will, and he can bring the ball up, bro. Like, think about it. If they run that three big man lineup with Serge, Bobby Portis, Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday, they're smoking a lot of teams in the East. I'm telling you right now, I think they're going back to back. That's just my opinion. I just
They
think
could
they're
run a zone. Nobody's going to get through.
Yeah,
right.
they
They
can
can
run
run a
zone.
zone, and all of them could rebound. Like,
Yep.
who you getting a rebound over?
I think if they can get a backup point guard, they'll be set.
So it's crazy because they were trying to get Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
But Boston didn't want DiVincenzo. So that's how that they
That's
sent
fair. Why they didn't?
DiVincenzo out
Mhm.
right to
Mhm.
Sacramento in a 3-team trade. But nevertheless, man, like the Milwaukee Bucks, they made one of the smartest moves today, I would say.
Mhm.
Not the biggest, obviously, because the Nets and the Sixers had the biggest move considering the names, but the Milwaukee Bucks sneaky, man, sneaky, and let's not sleep either. The Suns, I think we're gonna see another
Torian
Suns.
Craig,
Not only that, Torian Craig, they
And
got
Aaron
Justin
Holiday.
Holiday,
Aaron
Aaron Holiday.
Holiday.
Aaron
They got
Holiday.
Aaron Holiday,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? So like they have more switchability, more wings. They have all the wings, like you know what I mean. So
It's like them.
it's
It's like the Suns and the Raptors are like places of wing factories.
yeah, Javon. I think your point. I think you may be right on that. Dennis. Now that I think about it, that you say that Dennis may get bought out. He's in Houston. There's no need for him to be there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I can see him getting bought out, and probably he could go to Milwaukee. He could go to the Clippers. They need a point guard. Or if the Knicks want to throw him some money, he'll go to the Knicks for the rest of the year because they need a point guard too. No, it's true though.
Yo,
I'm not even
yeah,
like trolling. Like
no,
y'all need a
because
point guard,
yeah,
and
Kemba
legit,
Walker.
he will fit. He will fit for the for the. You guys, I don't
And
understand.
he
You guys
can
didn't move anybody, but
he can ball
Okay,
out.
so I'm gonna explain that. So we're gonna go into that.
yeah,
So
let's Lakers. I'm on your ass. So go ahead, Knicks.
all right, so the fact that they didn't make any moves, I was a little bit disappointed because if the way they've been playing the last couple weeks, and that they've been not been playing well at all. They lost 10 of the last 12. We were all Knicks fans. We were all clamoring for them to make some kind of move just to like free up the roster a little bit to have the young kids play. Um, the fact that there was reports saying that from Ian Begley saying that they did have deals in place, but other teams didn't see the values of the deals that they saw in the contract. It lets us know that they didn't play
Well, here's
they
the
didn't play
thing.
up to the standards.
It's
And
not even that. It's also
it,
too your front office didn't do its homework
yeah,
because
they because the
they
thing is
didn't
they were banking
evaluate
on
they
they were
didn't
banking
evaluate
on
your talent enough to be like, okay, this is what we can get. We can scour the market, and this is what their value is on the market right now. What they then what they did is a panic PR move and say, yo, the entire roster's up for sale, so we can get some
yeah
calls.
they okay, so it's like either they're all up for sale or not. Which is it? So now we're in this place where we're stuck in the middle. You need to pick a direction. Now you're telling us that you can go forward with this roster to finish the season.
It's so crazy. It sounds
And
like
this
Lakers. It's
it's like what are
insane.
we doing here? What are we doing? And we gotta see. So no Derrick Rose, he's still out. RJ Barrett, he got injured last game. He's out. And you mean to tell me that you're still gonna play Alec Burks 35 minutes? You guys see Taj Gibson play 20 minutes, Nerlens Noel, Evan Fournier, Campbell Walker, and you know that That starting five roster is not good. They have not been good at all season long. And now you got this coach who's all about got to get wins, looking up in the standings saying, "Oh, we're only like a couple of games out of the play-in. Let's shoot for the play-in," which doesn't really make sense in the grand scheme of things now because look at the top of the East. You saw what the Nets did. You saw what the Sixers did. You saw what the Bucks did. The Bulls, the Cavaliers, the Heat. So you want to fight for a playing spot, knowing that they're not even that good enough to at least win a playoff game in the series?
Y'all
No,
might not make the playoffs, bro. Honestly,
exactly. So why? So might as well just tank, get your pack. So now you gotta. So now it's all up on Leon Rose, Roy West, to let Tibbs know that hey, this is the direction we need to go. Leon, you're the head of the snake. You're head of the franchise. Okay. Let me tell you this.
the Knicks
They
are in
said
If
shambles.
the New
they
York
said Julius
Knicks
Randle got him in the chokehold right now.
exactly,
Holding
they
his-
signed to that. They
They
signed
got
to
him
that
in a spree
extension.
well. That's what they call it.
Exactly.
They got
They
him in a
signed
spree
to
well.
they signed to that extension, and look where they are now. So now,
Knicks,
but
yo,
hold,
Julius got the Knicks in a
but, hold,
spree well.
but here's the thing, though. I think the reason why they didn't see. I think the reason why they want to wait till the offseason is that okay, the guys that they signed to 3-year deals, the last year is a team option, so you cut 1 year off. Now it's one, so he got 2 years. It's 2-year contracts, 1 and 1.
You know you're gonna
But
have to
here's the
give up a.
thing,
You know you're gonna have to
yeah,
attach
you're
a
gonna have
pick.
to, yeah, exactly. So they overplayed their hands with Evan
You're not
Fournier,
getting Dame.
Kemba Walker. No, they don't want to get Dame. I'm not sure what they're trying to. I'm hearing reports that since the Mavericks they re-signed Dorian Finney-Smith for his 52,
Oh,
Jalen
Jalen
Brunson,
Brunson.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
here's the thing though. But here's the
And
kicker.
I think they're getting Dragic too in the buyout.
But here's the thing though. If Jalen Brunson has a big playoff run, guess how much you're gonna have to pay him? 20 plus million a year. Is he worth that?
Better than what you got now. I'll tell you that.
Hey, you know what? So all I know is this: they gotta fix it up ASAP. They got the Leon and Tibbs, look, Leon and Roy West gotta let Tibbs know that hey, this is the direction that we gotta go. We gotta we gotta evaluate what we got on the roster. You gotta play the young guys to see what we got on the roster and start sitting these vets because if you think that this team is gonna go places right now on February 10th to April 10th, they're gonna start winning games and making a run to the playoffs. You're sadly mistaken.
All right. I mean, say it with your chest. I got so here's the thing with the Knicks, right? That like um it's just it's a peculiar situation with you guys because unlike the Lakers, right? And we'll get to them. Um you got Fournier who's on the books for what, 2 more years, correct? After this season. Am I right, Eric? Yeah, Fournier on the books for 2 more years after this season,
Yeah, 2 more years
right? At
because he signed
17 million.
because the third year is an option.
Right. So at 17 million each year, I think it is, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
17 mil. Yeah,
All right. You got Kimball Walker, who's on the books for
1 more year after this.
so basically 2 years. It's a team option or is a player option?
No, it's this year and next year, and
Oh,
that's it.
so it was a 2 year guaranteed contract.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so he's on the books next season.
Mm-hmm.
Alec Burke, he's on the books for another 3 years, right?
2 years
2 years.
because it's
Okay,
one and
another
one.
2 years.
Derrick
Another
Rose,
2 years.
another 1 and 1. Nerlens Noel, another 1 and 1.
Okay. Now the thing is what's the attraction,
That's the
right? Like
thing.
and that's where I'm confused as to where the Knicks are going because and this is why I say unlike the Lakers at the very least what the Lakers do have is two guys on a roster that have one that can attract a plus player, a minus whatever player, right? If you're talking about like rankings and superstars, right? Like I don't know what can the Knicks offer a top free agent, or I can see draft compensation and whatever that they can give to another team, but it's just I don't know what direction you guys are going because
that's the question we've been asking for the front office to answer to us. What is the
it's
direction
not like
that
you
they want
guys
to
have
go?
like
With the
exactly. It's not
Knicks is a
like
repeating cycle.
right because it's not
It's
like you guys are. It's not like
It's the
Julius
same thing.
Randle is having stars knock on the door. Y'all want
no,
to play with me,
Right,
no,
Julius.
right.
So
no.
it's like
It's
I'm
bas- it's
confused
because
what
it's
they're trying to
basically
do.
because right now you got to look at RJ Barrett
KD said it.
is that franchise guy, and then the rest of the roster is a bunch of role players.
Right, but then RJ Barrett is not John Morant. Like he's not that young guy that's like whoa. He's like okay, you bat your eye, but it's nothing like I want to. He's not there yet. So it's just I'm just confused of why they didn't just
And I
in this situation. What I would have done, even if I couldn't get the value I was looking for, at the very least, I know Burks, Kimba, and Fournier. I gotta get
yeah,
off
you
because I
got
got
to
young
got to
guys
get
I
them
have
off.
to play.
Yeah,
I have young guys I gotta play. So hey, if I can't get a first round pick, give me some
and
seconds. I don't care.
seconds.
Just send them
Yeah,
away because you
Rack
need the
up.
one you want to clear the books and you want to be able to have the young guys showcase some talent so you can look forward to and say, okay, all right, now we focus on the draft. Who do we draft? That can kind of complement these players. RJ Barrett, what do you need? And then in the offseason, based
and
on
then you can
in an
retool and
offseason,
restock
but
around
it's
But I
not
think
even
RJ
what
that.
it
Barrett.
is, the
Oh, wait,
Knicks
wait,
is
hold on.
in.
One more point. But it's not even that. It's just if you tank, right? Not say I hate the word tank, but if you
Yeah,
decide to just
Mhm,
to go the youth route, and that's gonna cause you to lose some games because due to inexperience.
mhm.
Um, now you have Julius Randle, who is who is a all star but not superstar, and you're gonna have draft capital because you didn't you were in the lottery this year, you
Mhm.
can attach that, and now okay, boom. Here's the first building block. Boom.
Yep.
hmm
And now we got RJ Barrett. Now we're gonna pair them two. We still got Cam Reddish, and then you got Jericho Sims, and like I don't understand where they're going. It's just like I would have just been like, yo,
Damn
whoever
purgatory.
wants these guys, you can have them. Just give me some second
hmm
round picks, and I got a bunch of guys but I got a bunch of young guys who play their positions that need to play.
and
You get
but
what I'm saying? Like I don't understand that. I
but
don't
here's the
understand why
thing
they
though.
didn't make a move.
But here's the thing though. We all been saying that. We all been asking that. Like you gotta look at the roster and pick who's in for the future, who's out for right now. But here's the thing: you got Tibbs, and who is Tibbs? He's a
Yo,
coach who wants to win, and
but it's
that is a
crazy though.
big
You say this.
problem. That is a
It's crazy you
problem.
say this. Like
And then what
it's
happened
almost like the
last year?
Vogel. It's like the Vogel effect, right? Like
Mhm.
Tibbs don't want to play Cam Reddish. Vogel don't want to play
Exactly.
Russ. There's an issue with the team and an issue with the front office direction and the coach's direction. Like it's insane to me.
And
Insane.
another thing, I think last year them making the playoffs at finishing as the fourth seed, now it's coming back to bite the Knicks in the behind
Yeah,
High
because
y'all were
last year,
premature.
expectations.
Y'all prematured.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
what
and now
happened.
high
and the
Y'all prematured.
expectations.
expectations and they got the expectations way too high
Mhm.
because now y'all missed out on last year's lottery where the top eight picks were you could easily put in the Knicks rotation and boom, they're starters. Now it's a bunch of mid vets who are done nothing or basically been inconsistent all year long, and now we're stuck. And now we got a coach who wants to win now, trying to push for a playoffs playing spot. Like, come on, Tibbs,
But I
come on,
think what it,
Leon. You
I think
gotta
what it
pick a
is.
direction. If either you're gonna go young or you're gonna play the vets. There's no
I
more in between.
I think.
Now they're on the clock. Now they
Mhm.
have to be on the clock because this offseason is going to be the first offseason that they're going to have pressure on them to make moves to make sure that this team gets better. Or else the fans are going to start chanting, fire Tibbs, fire Leon, and then who's going to come knocking down the door? Dolan. We don't
Mhm.
want that to happen again. So yeah, they got to fix this ASAP. And the guys,
I,
it's got to start tonight with the youth movement and send these vets out.
Yeah, y'all gonna get smoked tonight because
Yeah, they got the Warriors, and on top
yeah.
of that, they come home, they play the Thunder, they play the Nets next Wednesday, All-Star break, and then they got the Heat, Sixers twice, and then they go out west again in
it
March.
gets tough. Yep.
That's
Yeah,
brutal. That's brutal.
yeah,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
pack it up.
yeah. Pack it up. I got the tank gassed up, ready to go. Camouflage boots. Let's go.
Yeah, Armani.
I mean,
Armani, go ahead.
all I was going to say is just that I just think, as I'm not a Knicks fan, but I know a lot of Knicks fans, you guys have high expectations year in and year out. So I believe going into the season last year, you guys had high expectations to be great, but also you have to be realistic with yourself and be like, all right, this team is not really good. We don't really know what to expect from Julius Randle. So as we countless said many times
And the
on this
problem,
show,
oh, let me interject with the
go
Julius
ahead.
Randle. There were
Hmm.
people saying that last year was an outlier
Right,
because no fans.
right.
It was a COVID
Yeah,
shortened season.
he was a product of the
He was
bubble.
part of the
But
bubble.
Mhm, mhm.
Javon, that's a good point. On paper, they look good. They
Mhm.
Kimba, Fournier. Oh man, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You couple that with Julius Randle's season that he just had. You like, wait a minute, RJ taking
Mhm.
a leap, and Mitchell Robinson coming back. The Knicks gonna be a top 5
All,
seed.
all you need is a little bit of
Now,
gas to get the Knicks fired up. And we said this
Yeah.
like they going into the
ping
season,
pong.
they lost all of their defensive players, for offensive players who are really bad defensively.
Bullock.
Armani, what did I say in the beginning of the season? What did I tell Eric in the beginning of the season?
we no,
I
you
said, I
we
said,
go
everybody
ahead.
could
We
go
said
back.
it. Yeah, you
I
said it.
said to him, I said, the
Mhm.
problem with the Knicks roster is that they went in one direction, the front office, and then the coach's philosophy is a total opposite.
Mhm.
I said you gave up defense to supplement with offense
Really
with
bad
a
offense.
coach who specializes in defense.
Mhm.
I wonder who's going through that right now. So I know it from firsthand because the Lakers are going through it, so we see it. And
Yeah.
I told you, and I was just like, I don't like. Yeah, y'all look good, but I don't think it's going to be good. And Eric, listen, you're a fan. You're supposed to support your team no matter what.
Right.
but
Right.
Like I didn't
but
agree
I
with the rush, but listen, I didn't agree with the rush rate at all. But he's here, so I gotta support, and I gotta like figure out in my mind how we're gonna be successful.
mhm.
So like the Knicks, I get your point, but
Mhm.
from outside looking in, I was like, wait a minute, something ain't right. Kimba don't play defense. Evan Fournier don't play defense. Then I went back and
Mhm.
looked at tape, and I was just like,
They are
yeah,
cold. They are cold on
Yeah.
they don't
defense.
play defense. I don't know how this is gonna work.
They are cold on defense.
So now
So
it's like they next year they got to go back to the bread and butter. They have to. They have to.
yeah.
And with the
We
young, and also with the young guys playing in the back of them, now you have to at least look at them and say, hey, they gave the Knicks the best chance to win.
yeah.
So why not put
Go
them
with
out
that.
there and
Mhm.
showcase them and see what you can build up for next year? Because if this happens next year, they're both on the clock.
Yeah, I think, like I was saying, like I believe they're in
They
purgatory right
was on
now,
fire, Javon.
and
They were.
and they ran out of steam. They was like, all right, we're gonna go what we got, similar to the position that the Lakers are in right now.
That's what I'm
Like
saying. It's crazy how
we,
parallel the issues are.
Yep.
yeah, they got on this truck and they just ran out of steam until the wheels fall off. Now it's just like you're at the deadline, you ain't make any moves. We don't know what you guys are gonna do in the buyout market. And just like, all right, what do we do? Like, do we go back? Do we take, or like do we hurt ourselves even more by trying to be good?
Oof.
You guys get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we're stuck.
Yeah.
We're stuck.
So so the segue
Oh God.
Oof.
um
Oh no.
into another team who didn't make any moves.
Oh God.
The
Oh God.
Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh
Oh,
man.
Javon, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about why the Knicks didn't help the Lakers out. We're gonna talk about it. So um
We were supposed to be friends for a day, yo. Like what happened? You
as
know?
you know, it's been a roller coaster for the Lakers for the last couple weeks, months, the
The
whole
whole
season, damn near the
season.
whole season,
Season.
The whole
preseason. Go back to
season.
preseason when we were winless, and I'm at the game, right? I'm at the game at then Staples Center, and I'm watching, and I'm just like, I went to the game actually when they all played for the first time, where it was Russ, LeBron, AD, Melo, like all of them played, right? Aside from THT and none because they were still hurt. And I was just watching, I was just like, at first you're in awe because you're like, yo, like all these guys are back, like they're playing together. We got Russ as
It's
much
like an
as Russ.
all-star game.
Yeah, like I'm like, this looks good. This looks
Yeah.
good. And then I started watching the game.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, LeBron doing his thing. Like LeBron gonna be LeBron. I wanted to watch AD obviously because he was injured and all this stuff and yeah, we definitely got packed up by Booker. Um, I wanted to see his motor, but it was, okay, I'm like, all right, AD looks okay. He looks all right. He looks all right. Then I looked at Russ, and I was like, ooh, okay, this could be worked through. And I started watching. Obviously, I watch every game damn near. And after going winless in the preseason, I was just like, that's this team is offensively flawed. Like there's something wrong. But we all know
Yeah.
the LeBron James teams always starts a little rough because they're trying to figure it out, and he's
We
going
didn't bat it
through
on. We didn't bat it on.
right. And I look at last year, and I'm like, beginning of last year, Lakers were 21-9, right, to start the season. They were number one seed, and it's crazy how like Phoenix and Golden State had that record. Everyone was raving. Oh my God, look how dominant they look. And when you hear a peep about the Lakers last year when they were 21-9.
Because we
But
were
anywho,
supposed to do that.
right. Anywho, after the short season, after just winning the chip, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
I'm looking at the team, and then, like I just see like the Westbrook mistakes, and more and more I'm like, all right, like this is Russ. Like he comes with all this. He'll clean it up. He'll clean it up. They'll get it together. And then the injuries started happening. LeBron got hurt first. And I was like, damn, okay, this is not good. But I said, but it gives time for AD and Russ to get some chemistry, which is going to be really great because when Braun's off the floor,
That's the
they're gonna
lineup. That's
that's gonna
rotation.
right. That's another like in
Mm-hmm.
the two-man punch we could put on teams.
Mm-hmm.
But those didn't equate to wins. And I was just like, man, I'm getting concerned. Then boom, Braun comes back, but AD gets hurt, and I was just like, "Go, okay, fine. Let LeBron and Westbrook get some chemistry. They'll figure it out. They'll, understand what spots need to be in and who's running the offense and who's playmaking, all that stuff." Then AD comes back, and I'm like, "Okay, finally, it's looking really bad, but." We know all of us Laker fans are saying, "Well, we need AD back. When AD gets back, he's gonna be in rare form, and we're gonna be straight." A reason he just came back from injury, we're gonna be straight. Or THT is back, we're gonna be straight. And it's all these excuses until when the big three played together, it didn't equate to wins
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
consistently. And I said, this is a problem. And then we get to the drama. The drama starts unfolding because now the team's not living up to expectation. You start to feel like fans are getting restless because they're like, what the hell is going on? And then now you start hearing the issues with Frank Vogel, with the front office, and Kirk Rambis, and this, that, and the third. It starts to become a clown show at the very least, right? It starts to become a joke. So then comes the Indiana game where Russell Westbrook gets benched. So you get that. So now you start getting issues. And then the Knick game happens, and
Ooh.
Russ gets benched again. Again, Lakers win. Lakers do win that game.
Shout out to Malik Monk, by the way. Shout out to
Yeah,
Malik Monk.
yeah. Microwave Monk. Then after that,
Killed my Knicks on that Saturday game.
Shout out to Malik
yeah.
Monk.
Shout out to Malik Monk. Then after that, Milwaukee game where he doesn't
Oof.
play the whole fourth quarter, and now this is when everything's unraveling. LeBron starts to say, "We're not a good enough team. We're not on the Milwaukee's level. We're not a championship contender." Russ is patting him on the head, saying, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could
I
be in the
saw
game, but it
that,
ain't
yo.
it ain't my fault. I wish I could be there, but it,
Ooh.
it ain't my fault."
It wasn't me.
And and you got Frank Vogel basically calling out Russ without saying his name, but calling him out like he needs to
Mhm.
play better, or else he's gonna get benched, and it's just a mess. And what was the tipping point was last night when the Lakers go into Portland that
No
has
CJ
no
McCollum.
that has that hold on that has no Damian Lillard, ladies and gentlemen, no CJ McCollum, no Robert Covington, no Norman Powell. They lose to an Anthony Simons and Ben McLemore, Yusuf Nurkic small three. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook didn't play. He had back tightness. He only played 26 minutes the other night. I mean yesterday. I mean whatever. Anywho, So we get to the trade deadline. You already see it, like the body language on the floor. They don't seem happy. The group is not together. They're either not listening to Vogel or there's an issue with Russ. Here's my thing: you can't have a coach and a co-star not coexist. It is not going to work. I don't care who you have on the team. Your starting point guard and your coach are not coexisting. There is a problem.
Mhm.
The Lakers need to figure out what they want to do. Are you going with Russ or are you going to fire Vogel? This cannot fester for the rest of the year because it's clear
I mean,
the
we going with Russ.
animosity between them. I'm gonna get to that. The animosity between them has now punctured through the team, through the locker room. And yes, you may say they're going with Russ because they didn't trade him, but also at the same time, Rob Pelinka already stated today in his presser that when he approached LeBron James and Anthony Davis about Frank Vogel, their response was, Frank Vogel's our guy. Frank Vogel's the coach. Frank Vogel puts us in the best positions to win. So again, what is it? It's either Russ don't fit and things are not going his way, or Vogel, your lineups, your lack of offensive freaking schemes that you draw up or lackadaisical. Excuse me. Um, it's such an issue, and we can't let this fester any longer. Now, when you get to the trade deadline, I can guarantee you, if there was a good enough deal to get off Westbrook, they would have done it. I necessarily agree that the Lakers didn't make the move for John Wall, and I'm not going to give up a first round pick and Russ to
I
get
agree.
John Wall.
I
I'm
agree.
sorry, like
I was
I'm
totally
not
against
giving
that.
up that.
Made no
What
sense.
Right. But my only issue is that with the Lakers was that you needed something else in the locker room. It's clear that the group is not together.
Yep.
I just felt like you needed a voice, something, somebody, someone brand new in the locker room that could kind of, pick up the energy and bring something new. So I would have thought they had three second round picks from the trade with Russ when they got Russ from Washington. They got three second round picks. At the very least, you mean to tell me that you couldn't offload maybe two of those second round picks and some of those back end guys on the roster like DJ or Bazemore or Wayne Ellington or one of those guys, or even Ariza to an extent that you could have gave up to get some type of asset or something to change the dynamic a little bit in the locker room? Like, people want to blame Russ all the time, and I get it. Russ does not look good. Like he does not look good at all.
He's the laughing stock of the league.
But at the same time, what do you expect Russ to do if he's playing in a lineup that Melo's playing the five, your
Yeah.
four is Trevor Ariza, your three is Taylor Horton Tucker, your two is Avery Bradley, and it's Russ? What do you expect him to do with that lineup? There's no shooters. Everyone knows.
Outside of Melo, everybody else just.
Everyone knows. In Houston, what did he do? Houston optimized his talent and they played 5 out. In OKC, what did they do? They optimized and they played 4 out. And Washington, they did the same thing. They played 4 out when Russ was in the game. The Lakers, at any given time, you have a big or two bigs in the paint. Now, yes, to me, the most optimal lineup you should be running is you should have LeBron, Russ, AD, and then you have two shooters, whether it's Wayne Ellington and Austin Reeves, or if it's Malik Monk and Wayne Ellington, or Malik Monk and Austin Reeves, and Malik Monk and I mean that's really it. That's really, if you really think about it, they don't have the players that kind of meet the needs of the superstars to be successful. Two, Vogel doesn't optimize the lineups enough to run to actually run a lineup that's more conducive to their talents and what they need on the floor to be successful. And three, rotation changes, the lineups. Like I can't harp on that. And not only just that, it's if you look at the Lakers, they don't want no offense. Like it's one or two things. They want a high PNR, horns, right? Or they run ISO, heavy ISO, and that's just how they operate their offense. There's no ball movement. There's no one cutting. There's no brush screen, no weak side screens. Vogel runs beautiful out of timeout plays. The game against
Clippers.
the Clippers when
Yep.
they ran the out of timeout play, and it was I believe it was LeBron who threw, or Russ who threw the alley.
Russ.
It was Russ who
The
threw the
AD.
alley to AD. It was a wide open, beautiful touchdown screen from him and Monk. People follow Monk because Monk had a hot hand, right? Caused the gravity, was allowed AD to just roll off the screen and had a wide open alley. Like, I don't understand why we can't run that. And here's the issue, which pisses me off even more. Our offensive coordinator is David Fizdale. And David Fizdale is a terrible coach. I have to say he's terrible.
I've been telling
He's never,
you.
he's never been a
I've been
good head
telling you
coach.
that.
And
I've
this
been
is the guy
telling
that's
you
running
that.
our offense.
I've been telling
So
you that.
I'm just look at the end of the day. I understand the fit and it doesn't work. We just got to figure it out. It is what it is. We're gonna be a playing team, right? We're gonna probably waive some of these guys like DJ and Bazemore, and we'll pick up Tristan Thompson. I think that's a given. I think he's coming. Probably Eric Bledsoe because he's gonna get bought out, and
Oh,
maybe
got
we
a
look at
question.
Gary Harris, or if Terrence Ross gets bought out, maybe we grab him. But like this is a joke, Laker fans, Laker Nation. This is a joke that we're literally punting. Think about this. We're punting on year 19 LeBron. Think about that. We are punting on year 19 playing like an MVP LeBron. Think about that because we couldn't optimize our assets last year because we gave up Russ. We gave up our assets for Russ. If LeBron James wanted Russ and Rob Pelinka wanted to keep assets and trade for Buddy Hield, damn it, you are the GM. Sorry, LeBron. No.
Speaking of Buddy Hield, he got traded from the Kings to the Pacers earlier this week.
And then they was
So
looking to deal
now,
him again.
what what do you,
If he gets
if
bought out,
Buddy
bring
if
him. Bring
if
him.
if Buddy Hield gets bought out, because I don't
Bring
think
him.
he's gonna
They're
be
not
with the
paying that
Pacers.
contract, man.
No, they're not paying that contract. Which you
No,
gotta
no. What
y'all
I'm
gotta pick
saying
him
is,
up.
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't think they buying out that contract. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't think they're buying out that contract.
Well, the
Almost
Pacers,
like
yeah,
that's almost like the Rockets buying out John Wall. They ain't doing that.
yeah.
That salary, they're
But
not doing that.
so he had another surprise trade like happened yesterday. The Pacers and the Kings. Pacers sent out Domantas Sabonis to the Kings for Tyrese Halliburton, and Tyrese
He
Halliburton.
said he was crying, bro.
Yeah, he was. Listen. I thought De'Aaron Fox was on the block from all the reports I really getting about the Kings.
It is a surprising trade. That's the one right there. That's one of the ones right there.
But I think that since the salary of De'Aaron Fox, I think other teams were like, we don't want to pick up his salary, so they went down. So I figured the Kings went the Halliburton route, but there were people in the organization saying, "Wait, what the hell's going on? What's going on?" It's another wave of dysfunction for the Kings and the organization.
Sacramento
But
Queen.
then again, last night, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox looked really good last night. They looked really good last night, so we'll see. We'll see. Another trade. The Blazers and the Pelicans 2 days ago. So Blazers traded C.J. McCollum, Larry Nance, and Tony Snell to the Blazers. No, I'm sorry. The Blazers trade C.J. McCollum, Larry Nance, and Tony Snell to the Pelicans for Josh Hart, Thomas Stadaransky, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and a 2022 protected first-round pick, and then 2 second-round picks.
I
And
think
also
we
Nickeil Alexander-Walker also got rerouted to Utah in that trade for Joe Ingles, who's done for the season.
crazy. We all came to an agreement that CJ and Damian Lillard combo needed to come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
Dame,
But
leave the
now,
grind. Leave the grind.
but now they cleared up $60 million in cap space. The Blazers.
So
Well,
hold on.
nobody
Wait,
wants to
wait.
go to Portland. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to go to
so
Portland.
let's cut this out because Woj be lying his ass off. So Woj was like, "Oh, the Blazers are looking
Nobody's
to,
going to Portland.
retool and build a contender around Dame." Ain't no, who. Shout out to the late
No.
night lake show. Who was in the late? Armando, was you in the late night lake show
Yeah,
last night?
I'm gonna just say this. The
Who?
only thing that's in Portland is
Oh yeah, I was
Nike
in it.
and Adidas. That's it.
I saw it last night. I was on it
That's
last
Because
it.
night.
who
They were
what
naming
top
names.
free
Ruben
agent?
Patterson,
Yeah,
Ruben
You don't want to go to
exactly.
Portland.
Patterson,
They said it's rainy in Portland.
Raiden
It's just
Pullen. It's
dreadful.
dreadful. They were
Yeah,
naming
Like
names like
seriously,
Ruben
it's sad.
what top
Patterson.
free agent
Ain't nobody going to
has
Portland.
has Portland signed
Ain't
ever
nobody going to
in their
Portland.
existence?
They went down a lot.
They went
They
down
mentioned
they went
Evan
down the
Turner.
list.
They said,
Evan
what's
No free
Turner,
agent.
Ruben
the
Patterson,
Kobe stopper?
Ruben
Yeah, the Kobe stopper,
Patterson,
Ruben Patterson,
Ruben
Rod Strickland,
Patterson,
Ross
Ross
Strickland,
Strickland,
Wes
Dale
Matthews.
Davis,
Wesley Matthews.
Dale
Like,
Davis,
come on, man.
Scottie
So
Pippen.
Yeah, it was just bad. Just
so
really
listen.
bad.
So this is what I think. Dame is going to request a trade.
Dame,
Now
get
here's
out
the
of
here.
there.
So like here's the thing, and I said this to Lakers guru too.
I know what
I
you're going to
told
say.
him, I said the interesting part about this now is that because Philly got James Harden,
Yep.
right? And that was like the caveat, like, oh, we could get, send Ben Simmons and we want Dame. I think what's gonna happen, and it won't look bad on Dame because it's like, yo, I did what I can. You could tell the team is like, this,
Okay.
yeah, they're blowing it up.
It's okay.
And I can see them, I can
Making
see
a
the
run.
Lakers. No, I can see the Lakers getting Damian Lillard in the offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, making a run
Because
for him.
they'll have right. They'll have 2 first-round picks this offseason. They'll have the 2027, excuse me,
In the 2029 pick.
and the 2029 pick they can use, right? And you package that with Russ and THT and maybe Kendrick Nunn if he has a good playoff or play-in game, whatever.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, he's coming back late March. He has the longest bone bruise injury I've ever seen in my life.
They said Kendrick Lamar coming back before Kendrick Nunn.
And Jesus coming back before Kendrick Nunn hit the court. So so if you look at that, and Russ is an expiring contract, you send him to Portland. Now the Lakers got Dame Lillard, who they originally wanted because Braun had the meeting with him last off season before they called Russ. And now Portland gets an aspiring contract of Russell Westbrook. They can either probably buy him out, and now Russ can go anywhere he would like, probably OKC for a farewell tour, or go back to Washington. No, I'm actually being serious. Like, or go back to Washington, or honestly, a team that kind of needs his services. Because again,
Yeah.
Russ is not a bad player, y'all. He's not. Like he's still elite. It's just that the fit does not work, and he can't play on a team when you got 2 ball dominant stars. Like it just don't work that way, man. Like so. It is what it is. And I'm hoping that's like the plan. That's what Rob Pelinka said. Because if you look at it, everyone will be off the books next season. Because everyone was signed on minimums. The only players the Lakers will have next season on the books, that's LeBron, AD, Stanley Johnson. But it's a team option, so they could be like, all right, you're done. And Austin Reeves. Those are the only players. And excuse me, THT, obviously. Those are the only players that's going to be on the books. You can trade THT, those picks. And if Russ, he'll probably opt into his 47.5 million, and then you ship him off with the two first round picks in THT, and you'll have all this cap space to kind of get and you have the cap space to re-sign Monk. That's the first thing they should do is re-sign Monk to a long-term deal, and
Facts.
then or have Monk. What they could do is have Monk sign the mid-level exception, because they'll have that available to them. Tell them like, yo, here's a wink, wink. Sign the mid-level for now. Next year, when you're off that, then we'll have your bird rights. Then we can give you a long-term
Some
crazy.
big money.
Yeah, we'll give you big money. So,
Yeah.
I kind of see. I'm hoping that's the way it goes. Like I would love Damian Lillard in a Laker uniform. It'll help. I'm sure they will win a championship with LeBron, Lillard, and AD. I am sure of that. So because he fits exactly what they need him to do. So
That's what I said last year. Like when we brought in Russ, right? We all, Ernest, I know we spoke. There's a couple Laker fans that I know that we spoke as well. We all was just like kind of questioning the trade. But me, like you said earlier, I wanted to have high hopes because then again, at the end of the day, this is my squad. This is my team. So I'm a ride or die for my squad, So like in the beginning of the season, like, going through the preseason, seeing Russ make these mistakes and not be able to fit with AD and LeBron, it was just kind of something that I just kind of like, didn't really bat my eye at until I think it was one game. I think it was the day on Christmas where Christmas game was just like, all right, the final straw for me because it was like, bro, like in that game, we were playing against James Harden and a bunch of G League players, and we were starting a comeback. We went on like a crazy run, and Russ was not on the court. And I remember telling myself, if we put Russ back in this game, the game is over. And sure as hell, we did. We put Russ back in the game. Guess what? We lost the game. I thought he got blocked by Nick Claxton. He actually missed the dunk, and then he also missed his assignment on Patty Mills. And I'm just like, yo, bro, like this is it. But the reason why I feel like we brought Russ in from the beginning was because we had no other option out there as far as like a ball handling point guard. LeBron is already in year 19, and we're not about to count on LeBron as being our point guard, even though he can do it. But like, we're starting to see that he's starting to chip away just a tiny bit with the injuries and everything. He's starting to pile up. But with Russ, it was like, okay, we got Russ, who's a turnover machine, but like, who else? Like, I know there was rumblings about us talking to Dame, but that didn't come to fruition. So we was not going to rely on Dennis Schroeder either. We wasn't going to run that back. So it was like, all right, we're just going to ride until the wheels fall off with Russ. But I hope this is the game plan. I feel like that's why we kind of held back on the trade deadline, didn't make any moves because think about Rob, he's quiet and he's been quiet this entire season, but he's known to have things up his sleeve. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But we'll see. And Laker Nation would definitely love to have Damian Lillard in. This is the same thing as the whole Brooklyn Nets and 76ers thing that just took place today. You have two disgruntled two bad situations for two players. Russ has been constantly getting called out in the media by his coach. Even though it's home, LA is home to him, just that we're us as Lakers fans, we're not really pleased about his play. And Dame could clearly see that this is being blown up. And this is something he should have seen a while ago because we all said that this whole CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard pairing need to be blown up. After they got bumped that year when they got swept by the Golden State Warriors, and then they got beat last year against the Nuggets, it was like, all right, this is long overdue. It's time to go. So Dame, come to LA, man. Suge Knight voice. Check.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it that you wouldn't ask me? I'm sorry. So what is it that you want to ask me, Armani?
Oh wait. Well, what's up?
Oh no, I'm sorry. So let's take. All right, so we talked about the surprise trades of today that would happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Washington Wizards and Dallas Mavericks trading Porzingis to the Wizards
Man,
for Davis Bertans and Spencer Dinwiddie and a second round pick. Now
a
the
movie that
Porz-
makes no sense.
it, it makes sense for the Mavericks because they need shooting, and the whole dynamic between Bertans, no, I mean between I'm sorry, Porzingis and Luka Doncic wasn't working. It ran it. I think it ran its course. There were games where Porzingis he didn't establish himself the second scorer. Um, and plus Luca and Porzingis they didn't get along too well.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that they just had enough with the experiment and then just shipped them off to Washington. Now you get back a shooting big man in Bertans who can like with Luca he can drive and kick and dish out to Bertans for wide open threes. And with Dinwiddie,
The,
I'm
the, so the issue with that I'm looking at right now, my bro and I we spoke about it earlier. You have Luca who's ISO heavy, pick and roll heavy,
mhm.
Jalen Brunson who can shoot,
Yep.
and then you have
Dorian
Dinwiddie who's also ISO heavy, pick and roll heavy. So it's
also,
like, all right, where is the continuity in all of this?
and
Like
also
Dallas, what are you
and also
doing?
and also they just signed Dorian Finney-Smith to a 4-year extension, 52 million. So does that open the door for Brunson to be unrestricted free agent and move out
Because he's
or leave
balling,
Dallas because he's balling
he's
because
balling.
he's balling now. But if he balls out more in the playoffs,
You
they're
get
gonna
more money.
he's getting 20 million over. And
Mhm.
is there any suitor out there that's going to pay him that amount, that more than 20 million? I don't think
He's
so.
he's like on his Reggie Jackson run from last
Yeah,
season.
right.
You
So
know, so teams, I think
I'm
teams would definitely bite at him, but we'll see. We'll see.
so I'm not sure what that trade was about.
And
The one other trade that surprised me, Spurs and Celtics. The Spurs trading Derek White to the Celtics.
so
That came.
yeah, it was surprising, but I believe Boston, they got what they wanted. They needed a point guard. Derek Wright is extremely unselfish and he can shoot the ball, play some solid defense. That's
Hmm.
the only W in that. But as far as Josh Richardson, like the Spurs, we already know the type of time they're on. They know the type of time they're on. They're
Yeah,
just trying to
this a
rebuild.
rebuild. Yeah.
They're trying to rebuild, just get a bunch of young assets and see what they could do for the near future. Because Pop, his time is ticking. We all know that they're not striving for anything. Shout out to DeJounte Murray for being a All-Star reserve. But
Yeah.
it's just nothing has happened in San Antonio for that trade to say, oh wow, But I mean, Celtics, they got what they wanted, point guard.
Yeah, and they needed I think they needed an upgrade at point,
They needed
and
that.
Derek White is a big upgrade with them,
Yeah,
and I think Josh Richardson didn't really provide enough for them
no.
at that spot, so
But
he was more expendable, and
the
also Dennis Schroeder, he's going to become more expendable because he might be on the buyout market.
yeah, but the thing is with Derek White, I can't sit here and say that he makes Jalen Brown and Tatum's job easier
Yeah,
because that's the thing right there. You wanted to bring in a point guard who's gonna make their job easier.
Nah, that's listen, that's all good. Let the Celtics do that because we all know why Jason Tatum's coming home. We all know why Jason Tatum's coming home.
So
So y'all saw that commercial.
oh
I'm just
gosh.
saying. I'm just saying. But since we're talking about the buyout market, I'm going to name a few players that John Hollinger from the Athletic had posted on Athletic.com, and you guys give me teams that you think they'll sign with. Gary Harris from Orlando Magic.
Um, Gary Harris, um, shooting guard. Who needs a shooting guard? Uh,
So I'll tell you this: there's reports about him and the Nuggets having mutual interest again. So
I'm
take
going
that
back
what
to
you will.
Denver.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'll probably say Charlotte.
I think
Really?
I think they got more than enough as shooting guard.
I say the Nets. They need depth.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay,
I was
especially a
thinking,
taller guard.
I
Taller
was
guard like
thinking the
6'3".
Raptors. I was thinking Raptors, but I'm not sure.
You, I, you could also say Cleveland because remember they were trying to get Eric
Yeah,
Bledsoe.
that's right. Cleveland.
So um, Goran Dragic of the newly acquired San Antonio Spurs.
They're saying Dallas. I heard Dallas
Yeah, I say Dallas or Miami.
because
Miami's a better fit because you don't know when you get VO back.
they say he's coming back in a couple weeks, but I'm not sure how's he gonna
Yeah.
look. Yeah.
Man, VO hasn't. Whatever, man.
Uh, Eric Bledsoe of the Trailblazers.
Mm,
E Blood.
Bledsoe.
Do you see him coming back to Milwaukee?
No,
No.
no. What about Chicago?
They
Chicago's a
need a
good spot.
wing. They,
They do need a
yeah,
wing, but
especially for right now. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Why do we need a point
yeah,
guard? Yeah, yeah.
or the Knicks. Um,
Uh,
these two names maybe, but we'll see. Robin Lopez of the Magic.
Chicago.
um, that's a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. He
Yep.
played it before, right?
Yep.
He played it before.
Hmm.
Uh,
Corey Joseph.
yeah, Corey Joseph.
Ooh.
Corey Joseph.
Ah.
Mm.
There's the teams that need point guards, man.
But Corey Joseph is like just an unselfish dude. Just like a facilitator. The shooter's not really that good.
Yeah, Do the Warriors need a point guard? What about the Warriors?
The Warriors need a big.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
Warriors
true.
need a big. They don't need a one point guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's picking up Freedom Cantor?
Huh.
I mean, excuse me, I said his
Yeah,
name all wrong.
Ennis.
I apologize. Ennis Freedom. Ennis
Ennis
Freedom.
Freedom. Hmm, hmm, hmm. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think his career is kind of done. Tristan Thompson.
I heard
I don't want LA to pick him up.
yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
I
The
think the Lakers
Lakers.
are. I
I
think the
think the
Lakers
Lakers
just
are.
are.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want it.
It was between him and Tristan Thompson.
All the bigs, I mean, well,
Between who and
Chicago,
Tristan
they
Thompson?
need a big. They need a big. Chicago needs a big.
Oh yeah. Paul Millsap and Mike Muscala are the last two.
Who needs a four? Who needs a four? Uh, hmm.
I mean,
I think Dallas.
everything is so positionless now. You know, like it doesn't even matter. The four is going to end up
Mhm.
playing a five anyway.
Somebody's gonna sign with Memphis. I feel like too.
Hmm. Yeah, they do need some.
I,
I think they need. I don't think.
Memphis
I think they need
might need
some
a
backcourt.
wing.
I think it's a backcourt. Maybe a Bledsoe will fit
When
there, but I
is
don't know. Eric
ooh,
Bledsoe over there,
wh-
just to like give John Morant
some
and
toughness?
Anthony Milton some a blow. You know what I mean?
When is Dylan Brooks coming back?
Good question.
It said sometime after the All Star
Sometimes
break.
All-Star break.
Because the team's gonna be look even more dangerous when he comes back because he already adds toughness to the team. But I think if
Mhm.
you add Eat Blood to that as well too, yeah. I mean, they already have this physical style of play that they play with, but I just think the return of Dylan Brooks, and even if you add Eat Blood, it's gonna kind of move the needle just a little bit. Just a whole lot of physical action going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Listen. I think
interesting.
it's gonna be a
Interesting.
lot of good stuff that's happening.
And also you
Obviously,
got teams. And also you got teams that are they got players on the roster who are eligible for another set of buyouts. So look out for that.
yeah, yeah. So we're not
There's
gonna know what this looks like soon. So,
let's talk
um,
about one trade that happened, I believe, a couple days ago, featuring the Clippers.
The
The Clippers and the Trailblazers, they was able to receive uh
what
they
the
was able
Norman
to
Powell trade?
yes,
the Norman
Norman
Powell trade,
Powell and Rob Covington
Rob Covington. Oof.
for yeah.
This is why I said
Okay.
the Lakers. This is why I said the Lakers need to get serious because I'm telling you right now,
The Clippers next year are going to be a problem.
The Clippers next year gonna be a serious problem.
They're
Like
going to be a
I'm not
serious
even
problem.
like I'm talking about better than the first year that they got together. Because the first year I was like, you know me, I was on my Laker. Like, man, we got LeBron and AD, please. You know what I'm saying? And they was in rare form, and I still think without the bubble we would have won the chip. But next year,
The Clippers going to be a problem,
the
man.
Clippers, man, listen, and who knows what they're gonna do in the offseason. The Clippers are gonna be a problem for sure. Adding Norman Powell. Speaking of adding people, All Star. As you know, LeBron James, Team LeBron,
Jokes.
and Team Durant.
Just
They picked
jokes.
they picked their teams.
All-Star draft tonight,
Jokes.
As you
and
know,
a lot of shade.
yeah, a lot of James Harden shades that was going on there. But what do you guys think? Give me your thoughts on the starting lineups for each squad and the reserves and yeah.
Already
Um,
knew what LeBron was going to do.
Team
Pick the
LeBron.
pick the
Yeah,
best player.
I said
Come on,
LeBron was
man.
gonna
Pick the best
LeBron.
player.
First of all, Giannis, Steph, LeBron, Jokic, and
Embiid,
oh my gosh, who's his
Embiid.
fifth player? No, who's his fifth? No, he doesn't have Embiid. Um, oh my gosh, who is his starter?
Oh,
I should have
Hold
had
on.
in front of me. I'm sorry.
Got you. But why you look that up? Oh, like what do you expect, Armani? LeBron is supposed to be the best player on the board, but like, bro, like he did this the past couple of years. When KD was on the board, he picked KD. Like,
That's a
you
fact.
know, you're supposed to make this as interesting as possible when the best players in the world play a pickup game, you know? And I mean, he had the first pick, so he had every right to do so. But it's like, yo, bro, like KD's already not playing, you know? So you could have picked Curry and have
Mhm.
Giannis been on Team KD, you know? I feel like that would have been like Clash of the Titans right there, you know?
Oh my God, it was DeMar DeRozan. Jeez, how did I forget about DeMar DeRozan? Yeah, so
Debo.
Debo. So all right, now who do you think has the best squad? I mean, I think Team LeBron has the best squad.
Come on now. Team KD got Rudy Gobert. Come on now.
Yeah,
Come on
yeah.
now. They
The
left
fact
him
that
on
he
the
picked
board
go,
again.
the fact that he picked Gobert over over
They
Harden though was petty. Was petty.
The
Super petty.
shade, the shade, the shade.
I just found that Rudy Gobert being last on the board again was hilarious because that happened last year. And then I remember there was a year when he cried about not being an all-star. So like Rudy Gobert, the league don't mess with you, buddy. Like we don't like you, buddy.
But not like seriously, like
But
think
yeah, fact on
about it.
those
Like
side.
LeBron, Giannis, Steph, DeMar DeRozan, and Jokic versus Booker, Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine. No, sorry,
Ja-
Jesus, versus Embiid, John Morant, Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins, and
I
Trey
thought
Young.
Braun was gonna pick Ja. We remember we spoke
No, he
about this in the
wanted
last
Ja.
show.
He
Yeah.
because he was gonna pick Ja after Steph, but
Mm-hmm.
KD wound up
He just
picking
did
Ja.
a job. Yeah.
Because I would have loved to see what Ja and LeBron on the fast break together. Oh my God. And then
Yeah.
their reserves, LeBron got Luca, he got Darius Garland. Low key though, LeBron gonna
That
go
was
back
a
to Cleveland.
that yeah.
yeah, he's
That
He
he's
gonna
looking at that. He's looking at that
he
roster.
go
Like, yeah, I'm going
yeah, he
back.
going
I'm
LeBron
going
going back to
back.
Cleveland. I'm telling you, he going back. He
Yeah,
going
he's
back
going
to
back.
Cleveland. Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, Fred Van Fleet, and then James Harden. And then Durant, you got Booker, Big Cat, Zach LaVine, DeJounte Murray, Chris Middleton, LaMelo Ball, and Rudy Gobert. So,
Mhm.
yeah, Team LeBron's going to win this. I mean, anytime you get, listen, the cheat code is LeBron's, Curry, and Giannis. That's the cheat code. You know
Mhm.
what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So,
LeBron's about to
it's
be
good.
undefeated
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
as a, as a GM,
Yep.
you
And
know.
I wish he had the same energy for the Lakers. But,
But you
anywho,
could just tell his body language. He just looks over it, you know. And
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
he just sitting there
Yeah,
read
for
off the
sure.
names. And what was funny, I think Chuck had asked Katie a question, just about like the events that turned out today, and LeBron started laughing. And one of my bros posted it on Twitter. He was just like, "If I'm KD, I'm looking at LeBron like, what you laughing for? Like
Yeah.
y'all in
Hmm.
shambles. Y'all ain't make
Word.
no moves
I'd,
today."
I'd have been like, sure, you over there laughing, but you, but you going home early this year for sure.
Bro, just the energy around Brooklyn Nets fans because there's only like three of them, right? They was
Yeah.
down bad because they lost
It's
like
only
nine straight.
it's
Oh
only
man,
Chan
yo,
And
those
Amari.
those those
You
Brooklyn
know.
net those Brooklyn net Twitter spaces. Oh my gosh, the last 2 weeks they were just
You see what I'm
hilarious.
saying? So
But
like
listen, but here's the thing. I could care less about those spaces for the Brooklyn Net fans because we've been going through it all year. So I don't feel no sympathy for nobody. You
they
know what I'm
so
saying?
Brooklyn Nets they was down bad, right? Because they lost nine straight. Shout out to the Lakers for contributing to that losing streak. Thank you
They
very
might
much.
they might
Um,
lose a 10 straight. They're down against the
sheesh.
Wizards.
But the thing is just the out of nowhere, you see the life just revamp back, because now it's like, all right, we back again. Meanwhile, in LA, we're just like, oh, we just here. We just here.
you know, you know
We
what,
just here.
Sean? You know what, Sean? Like, whatever, Sean. Listen, them goons in Dade County, like, yeah. But
So I figured
listen.
they would have made a move. I figured
I
Miami would
thought
have
they
made a
were gonna
move.
make a move. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like they. But
Hmm.
also, I think they know. Depot coming back. That's kind of like their buyout guy. If you really
Mhm.
think about it, you know what I'm saying. So they're gonna be fine. Listen, it's down to three teams in my opinion right now. It's the Bucks, the Heat, and the Sixers.
But
That's
Sean,
just
you win championships at the deadline. I'm gonna just say that. You
that's true
win
too.
championships at the deadline.
That's true
We
Hmm.
too.
seen teams go
And,
from like
and then
kind of
Sean
dark horses to championship contenders.
and Sean, and when you're losing, You don't have to worry about trades either. You stand pat and don't trade nothing dumb. So trust me, we'll
Yep.
be all right. We'll be all right. LeBron, AD, and Westbrook, they're gonna have to figure it out. They got no other choice but to. They have to figure it out. So here's my perspective. It only gets better from here, brother. It only gets better from here. So watch out. So that's all I gotta say. Um, our last subject we want to talk about, so we'll wrap up after this. Top 15 NBA coaches. Um, I had one question on here, but
I
we'll
think
give
we
you
all
guys
do.
the.
We
I'm
all got
gonna
the same
run.
question.
I'm gonna run down the top 15. Let me know if you have an issue with it, yes or no, and we'll
We
go
all got
through
the
it.
same issue.
Yeah. So Red Auerbach, Larry Brown, Chuck Daly, Red Holzman, Phil Jackson, Casey Jones, Steve Kerr, Don Nelson, Greg Popovich, Jack Ramsey, Pat Riley, Doc Rivers, Jerry Sloan, Eric Spoelstra, and Lenny Wilkins.
Okay.
We all got the same
Um,
issue with this list.
Steve Kerr and Doc Rivers. I have issues with that.
Mm,
Okay, give me why
Okay, more. I think more Doc Rivers than Steve Kerr.
okay.
mhm.
Doc Rivers for that one championship, but his team has blown a lot of playoff series. This
Phil
with the
Jackson even
Clippers and the
said it.
Sixers.
Hey
Hmm.
Sean,
So
we're gonna have to fact check that, man. 12 out of 21 last champions haven't made a deal at the deadline. We're gonna fact check that, brother.
All right, hold
And
on. Y'all continue. I'll look that up.
so Doc Rivers, I was saying, um kind of like overrated in my opinion because his teams have not been very good in the playoffs, especially the last couple of years with the Clippers and Sixers. Um Steve Kerr, okay, the five championships. Actually, no, he's won three championships as head coach. Um, it's more on the talent that he has. But then again, all the coaches that are on this list, they have Hall of Fame players, so I can't really say that. But I think his career is not long enough to be placed on the 15 greatest coaches list. I would have put Eric Spoelstra is on that list, so he has more of a history length on that with that on that list. And I think the
but
rest
let's keep it on 100 though, right? Because Eric Spoelstra,
we had
how many rings he got?
you got four
Right, and due part because
of LeBron.
right.
Yeah. No wait,
No,
yes.
he had three.
Yes,
No,
three. No,
No,
it's
he has
three. It's
three. He
three.
yeah,
has
It's
three.
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 I'm like
Three. No,
four.
three. Four. Wait
He
a
has
minute.
three.
Yes,
He has
three.
three.
Yes,
He has
three.
three rings.
Yeah.
Um, Eric Spoelstra is.
Sean looking at us crazy right now.
I know he is. I
Relax,
know he
Sean.
is. I know he is. But it's just weird to me that he's done, and this is the same issue I have with Steve Kerr. So I'm not
I know
singling
exactly
out
what you're gonna say.
Eric
I know
Spoelstra
exactly what you're gonna say.
versus these other coaches. They co- come on, come on, Sean. He just, but they have relatively only won with one superstar. Um, in a sense, right? Like they've never won elsewhere. They didn't. They like Spoelstra had LeBron and Wade and never won the championship since LeBron left.
right.
Um,
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr without Steph Curry,
Without
I mean,
Steph
you know what
Curry,
I
they
mean. We
were
haven't seen it.
without Steph Curry,
So
he was under 500.
right, um, and we all know Doc. Like, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
Doc. They still hanging on the 2009, excuse me, 2008 championship. Rightfully so, they did what they had to do. But you know, there's a clip of Phil Jackson that says in the
Yup.
2009 championship, I mean
It was
2010 championship
2008,
at
2010,
Boston,
one of those years
2010, yeah, 2010 at Boston. Phil Jackson was just like,
in
stay
a
the
huddle.
course in the huddle. He was telling Kobe and the Powell and all those guys, stay the course because this coach is known
This
to blow
coach is known
leads.
notable
Hmm.
leads.
Yep.
Yeah,
And it
he said
happened.
that.
It literally happened. So,
Okay,
you
but
know,
since you brought up, because I see where you was going when you brought up Doc and I mean, excuse me, Kerr and Spoelstra. Can the same thing be said for Phil Jackson?
But Phil,
Phil
here's the
didn't.
thing. When Phil got to Chicago, he turned it around. Like it
Shout
wasn't
out to
like
No,
Tex.
they were winning, but they were in championship level.
Shout
right,
out to Tex. Okay.
Texas winner.
Okay.
right. Yeah, it's out of Tex winner. But
Yeah.
Right.
the
Rest in
but
peace.
the thing is, it's when Phil got to these organizations. Yes, he had the greatest player alive and the second greatest player alive. If you want to think about it, and the most dominant player. Like I get, he had those nuances, but those guys never won until Phil got there.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that was that's my argument with Phil.
Okay.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, Phil had the luxury of Jordan and Pippen and Rodman and Kobe and Shaq and Powell and Lamar Odom and Tony Kukoc, but at the same time,
They
those
had to
guys did
instill
not
that
win.
system,
Right?
Mhm.
They
and
didn't win
plus
until he got there. So
in
like
that
that to me
triangle
is coaching.
system.
Like you could tell he made a serious impact on how they were able to win and turn those great players into winners.
Mhm.
Michael Jordan isn't Michael Jordan without Phil Jackson. Let's just keep it a
Right.
buck.
Right.
I'm not saying the allure of Mike
Now
was already
we get what you
huge,
mean. We get what you
but
mean.
like the dominance on the game and going champion, like he needed Phil to get there. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Hmm.
that's my argument when it comes to that. Like we're talking top 50 coaches ever. You know, I still think the resume is still being built for guys like Spoelstra and Kerr
Yeah.
and Doc Rivers. It's still being built.
Hmm.
So I kind of don't know. You know, they've yet to do anything else. Um,
So what about Rudy Tom?
I
No, he's
think, and
been.
that's the thing. Rudy Tom should have been
Yeah,
in
he
there.
should have been on there. He
He
won
Yeah.
won
two
back to back
titles.
chips in the Slaughterhouse '90s.
And
Like,
speaking of
Yep.
that, because I know Sean brought up a point about like teams making deadline deals. Um, so what I have here, I got the Pistons picking up Rasheed Wallace back in '04 at that deadline. I'm not going to give you all 12, but I'm just give you what I got here. The Rockets picked up Clyde
Clyde
Drexler.
Drexler.
Yep. And then you got Lake Show picking up Powell. It didn't lead to the championship that year, but the next 2 years it did. So, you know,
deadlines do make championships, Sean.
right. Either at the moment or the following season. So that's what we was talking about, like the whole
And
Brooklyn thing.
that's what I can give credit to Rob Pelinka a little bit. A little bit. I'm still mad at him at, at his statement today. You know, he said we didn't find a trade that was going to help us marginally in the short term and in the long term. So I understand. Like John
Yeah,
Wall's not going to help you short term or either long term. If
right.
I had to replace it one coach, who would you put? The first person I would take out is Doc Rivers, and I'll put Rudy Tom Donovich. That'll
Yeah,
be me,
Hmm.
Sean. That'll be me.
we all could agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because at the very least, Spoelstra and Kerr they won multiple championships. So
mhm,
you know, as Doc, he just won one, and he's blown 3-1 leads.
yeah,
Kerr has done it. Kerr has blown a 3-1 lead, but it was on the biggest stage. Um,
Yeah. The
but
NBA Finals.
but it was against LeBron. Doc Rivers, you had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and you were up 3-1 against Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, and you blew it. So there's a difference.
And
There's a
last year
difference.
against the Hawks.
yeah,
And yeah, and I didn't even get to Philly because I was thinking about Orlando and
yeah,
I was thinking about the Clippers because Orlando he blew a 3-1 lead.
yep,
Yep. Against the Pistons.
Yes, against the Pistons with T Mac and all them. So
yep.
yeah, yeah.
All right,
What do you think about Don Nelson being on this? He deserves it, right?
Donnie.
Don,
Warriors, Mavericks.
but
He he's a big part of Dirk Nowitzki's success.
And
That's one
remember,
thing that comes to mind.
but he didn't win it. Oh, go
but
ahead,
he
Eric.
but he was also part of the earlier Warrior teams in the '90s that run TMC squad with Tim Hardaway, Chris
Yeah,
Mullin,
remember
and Mitch Richmond.
wasn't he the coach for the
Don't he got like the most wins or something like that?
he
Yeah,
Donnie wasn't Donnie the coach for of that Warrior team that beat
We
beat the
believe.
We
yeah,
Believe?
Yeah,
yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
he was the coach
yeah.
of
yeah,
the We
He was the
Believe
coach of
yeah,
Warriors.
he
Yeah,
was that coach of the team. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So but again, like I would take out Doc. Um,
For Rudy Tom.
Doc is top 20 for sure,
Yeah.
all time.
hmm
But 15, when I look at it, I think Rudy should have been in there.
Mhm.
And I would have put Rudy in and took him out.
hmm yeah.
But other than that, that's all I got.
That's all we
And
got.
ladies and gentlemen, that is the conclusion of episode 16 of the Swoosh Hoops podcast. Just some news. Look out for us on Twitter. We'll be doing a lot of spaces. It's the new thing. We got to get with the trend. We got to get people involved. So we'll be on Twitter heavy, doing some spaces, Twitter spaces on Hoop Talk about, and letting it go crazy because it get crazy in spaces. It get crazy in those
there's
spaces.
no filter. There's so much
Yeah,
stuff that we want to say on this, but we can't.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's no
You gotta
filter
keep
in
it
spaces.
PG.
So you want to hit the spaces up. Look out for that. Follow us on Twitter. So you can see those notifications that pop up. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Hit us up on Instagram. Be interactive. We can be interactive with you, and just look out for
also
that.
hit us up on Twitter, Facebook.
And until next time, guys, hold it down. Be safe.
Peace.